So there is this very specific moment of panic that, almost every single language learner knows intimately.
Oh, absolutely. It's universal.
Right. Like, picture this. You are standing at a brightly lit store counter, and in your hands, you're holding a brand new toaster. Or, maybe a pair of shoes that you just bought yesterday.
Yeah, you're just standing there waiting.
Exactly. And the cashier looks up at you, they smile, and they ask a completely standard, like really simple question. And suddenly, in that exact moment, every single word of English vocabulary you've ever learned it completely vanishes from your brain.
Just wiped completely clean.
Literally gone. Like, you know exactly what you want to say in your native language, but in English. Your mind goes blank, your heart rate spikes, and you just find yourself stammering out these awkward apologies.
It is honestly an incredibly common experience, navigating customer service, specifically, having to, return an item or explain a problem.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It really is one of the most high-stress environments for a second language learner. Because, well, you're shifting from being a happy buyer to someone who now has to initiate a minor conflict.
Right, you're the problem now. Or at least it feels that way.
Exactly. You have to present a problem to a complete stranger.
And when you're just buying something, it's a simple, happy transaction. You bring the item to the counter, you tap your card, you say thank you, and you leave.
It's totally frictionless.
But when you get home and you open the bag and you realize the shirt is the wrong size, or you plug in the toaster and it just doesn't turn on.
That's a terrible feeling.
Honestly, it's a completely different emotional landscape. Because you realize you have to go back.
You have to face the music.
Right. And if you are a B1 or B2 level English learner, walking back into that store feels like navigating a maze, but, you're wearing the blindfold.
That is a great way to put it.
You know the destination, right? Like, you want your money back, but you just cannot see the path, and you are terrified of bumping into walls.
Well, that anxiety is exactly what we are going to completely dismantle today. So, welcome to our English Learning Deep Dive.
Yes, welcome.
Our entire focus for this session is on you, the intermediate English learner. And our mission is to remove that blindfold completely.
We get right off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are going to examine the exact vocabulary, the precise phrasing, and, the underlying cultural psychology you need to confidently return or exchange an item in an English-speaking environment.
Because, the goal here is not just to survive the interaction, right?
Mere survival is not enough.
Anyone can survive by just, pointing at a broken toaster and shrugging. The goal is to actually feel in control of the conversation. We want you to sound fluent and confident and natural.
Precisely. And to achieve that fluency, we have to start with the core message of this entire process.
The foundation.
Yes. If you remember absolutely nothing else from our time together today, I want you to ingrain this principle into your mind.
What is it?
When something is wrong, you can be polite and firm at the very same time.
Polite and firm. I love the sound of that. But I do want to dig into the reality of it a bit.
Sure. Let's get into it.
Why is it so incredibly hard to balance those two things, like being polite and being firm? From what I've observed and, even experienced myself, people tend to default to one extreme or the other.
They absolutely do.
Right. Like they either become way too apologetic, acting like they are, begging the cashier for a massive favor, or they swing the total opposite way and get incredibly defensive and aggressive.
Like they're preparing for a court battle.
Exactly. Like they have to fight to the death for $20.
It's a fascinating psychological dynamic, really. And it's heavily influenced by the culture of English-speaking customer service.
Okay, break that down for us.
Let's look at the psychology of what is actually happening in your brain at that counter. You are processing a lot of stress.
Oh, yeah, tons.
You're speaking a second language, which is hard enough. And you feel like you are causing a problem for the store employee.
You feel guilty.
Exactly. So your natural human instinct might be to over-apologize, right? Hoping that if you make the employee like you, they'll magically help you.
Right. You walk up, your shoulders are all hunched, and you say, oh, hi, I'm so sorry to bother you, but maybe, if it is not too much trouble, could you possibly look at this?
Yes, that exact posture. And the fundamental problem with that approach in English is that you lose all of your firmness.
You just give it away.
You really do. The employee might subconsciously register that the issue isn't actually that serious.
Oh, that makes sense.
Or worse, they might guide you into a solution that benefits the store, like, giving you store credit rather than giving you the cash refund you actually wanted.
Because you didn't firmly ask for the cash. You gave away your power.
Precisely. But then, there is the other extreme, the defensive customer.
The angry one.
Right. The defensive customer thinks the store intentionally tricked them. Or perhaps they come from a culture where you actually have to fight aggressively to get a refund.
Where volume equals results.
Exactly. So they walk up to the counter angry, speaking loudly, demanding justice. But in places like the US, the UK, Canada, or Australia, customer service culture just does not reward aggression.
It backfires.
It totally backfires. In fact, if you get aggressive, the employee will usually shut down.
They put up a wall.
They do. They will become rigidly attached to store policies, and they will be far less helpful. You absolutely do not need to be angry to get what you want.
And you don't need to over-apologize for the store's mistake either.
Correct.
It kind of reminds me of a handshake.
A handshake? How so?
Think about a really good professional handshake in a business meeting. If your handshake is too weak, too loose, people just don't take you seriously.
The dead fish handshake.
Right. But if you squeeze their hand as hard as you can, you seem aggressive and, well, kind of unhinged.
Trying to prove dominance.
Exactly. But a gentle, solid handshake, you are respecting the other person, that is the polite part, but you are establishing a strong presence, and that is the firm part.
A gentle but solid handshake. I think that perfectly captures the linguistic tone we are aiming to build today.
Nice.
You are just stating a fact. You have a right as a consumer, and you are simply exercising that right with grace.
So let's actually put this into practice, because the absolute hardest part of this entire ordeal is just breaking the ice.
Getting the first words out.
Yes. You walk through the automatic doors, you walk up to the counter, and you have to speak the very first sentence. How do we initiate this gentle but firm handshake using English?
We need to set the tone immediately.
Yeah.
So let's look at the first of the two best ways to start this conversation. This is your primary opening move.
Okay, I'm ready.
The phrase is, I would like to return this.
Let's give that the proper focus. Can you give me the full ideal sentence I should use when approaching the cashier?
Absolutely. The complete sentence is, I would like to return this, please. Short pause. Listen to the rhythm of it again.
Yeah.
I would like to return this, please. Short pause.
Let's weave this into a real-world scenario. Let's practice. Imagine I am the store employee. I am standing behind the register. I see you walk up with a shopping bag, and I say, "Hi there. How can I help you today?"
I would like to return this, please.
Wow, it sounds incredibly natural. But, there is a lot of hidden mechanics working under the hood of that sentence.
There really is.
First, let's define the exact parameters of this phrase. When specifically do I deploy, I would like to return this?
You use this specific phrase when you want to give the physical item back to the store and you want your money back.
The actual cash.
Cash, or back on your bank card. Yes. That is the strict definition of a return in this context. The item goes to them, the money comes back to you. The transaction is completely reversed and ended.
Okay, now let's dive into the grammar here, because I know a lot of learners will ask this exact question.
Go for it.
There is real magic in the phrase, I would like, but why use it?
That's a great question.
Why not just walk up and say, I want to return this? I mean, the word want is one of the very first verbs anyone learns in English. It's simple, it's direct. Why is I want the wrong choice here?
It is a brilliant question. And understanding this is the key to mastering English politeness.
I'm all ears.
Let's break down the subtle psychological difference. In English, when you say I want, it often sounds like a child demanding a toy.
Oh, like a temper tantrum.
Exactly. Imagine a toddler saying, I want a cookie. I want to go to the park. I want my money back. It is entirely centered on your own internal, selfish desire, and it completely lacks social awareness.
It lacks a buffer. It feels a little too sharp, almost like a command rather than a conversation.
Exactly. Starting a customer service interaction with, I want, can instantly put the employee on the defensive.
It's like squeezing their hand too hard in the handshake.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
But when you use the modal verb construction, I would like, it establishes an adult respectful boundary. It creates a tiny bit of psychological distance.
Which is more polite.
Exactly. You are essentially saying, my preference is to do this, and I am formally requesting your assistance.
So by using would like, you are perfectly executing that gentle but solid handshake. You are firm because you are clearly stating your intention returning the item, but you are polite because you are using deferential grammar.
Spot on.
Yeah.
And I noticed you caught that I added a please at the very end of the sentence.
Yes, I did. I would like to return this, please.
The please softens the landing of the sentence. It rounds off the edges.
Makes it friendly.
Right. But we also have to talk about intonation, because how your voice sounds is just as important as the words you choose.
I'm glad you brought that up, because should my voice sound like I am asking a question?
No, absolutely not. You want your voice to stay relatively flat, calm, and steady, and it should drop slightly in pitch at the very end. I would like to return this, please.
Right, so I shouldn't say, I would like to return this, please, with my voice going way up at the end.
Exactly. If your pitch goes up at the end of the sentence, you are using the intonation of a question. You are asking for permission.
Oh, like I'm begging.
Right. You are unconsciously signaling to the cashier, is it okay if I return this? Will you let me?
Which is not firm at all.
Exactly. Remember our core message. Polite and firm. You are not asking for a favor. You are informing them of a standard retail procedure. Your voice goes slightly down at the end to show that the decision has already been made in your mind.
I would like to return this, please. Short pause. It feels very grounded when you say it that way. It commands respect.
It really does.
But, what happens if my goal is different? Like, what if I actually love the sweater I bought, but I just realized it is a medium and I really need a large?
That happens all the time.
Right. I don't want my money back. I just want the sweater that actually fits me.
That completely changes the vocabulary you must use. And it brings us to our second key opening phrase.
Okay, what is it?
If you do not want your money back, but instead want a different size, a different color, or a working version of the exact same item, you must use the word exchange.
Let's hear the foundational phrase for this situation.
The phrase is, I would like to exchange this.
And what does that look like in a full sentence at the counter?
You would say, I would like to exchange this for a smaller size. Short pause. Let's let that settle in. I would like to exchange this for a smaller size. Short pause.
Let's jump into the scenario again. Imagine I'm the cashier, you hand me the sweater, and I look at my computer screen and ask, all right, do you want a refund for this today?
Actually, I would like to exchange this.
Now I have to pause here, because this is a massive trap.
It is the biggest trap.
From my experience talking with language learners, confusing these two words, return and exchange, is the single most common cause of awkward miscommunications at the register.
It is a critical error, and it happens all the time.
We need to fix it.
We do. It is vital to understand the operational difference from the store's perspective. A return means the transaction is dead. It is over.
It's canceled.
Exactly. You get your money back, they take the item, and you walk out of the store with nothing in your hands. An exchange, however, means you are swapping.
A trade.
Right.
Yeah.
You are trading the item in your bag for another item currently sitting on their shelves. You are leaving the store with a product, not with your cash.
Just imagine the chaos if you mix them up.
Oh, it's a mess.
You walk up to the counter, you have a pair of shoes that are too tight, and you confidently say, I would like to return this.
Right.
The cashier says, okay, processes the paperwork, hands you $50, and closes the register. And then you stand there and say, great, so where can I find these in a size 10?
And the cashier is going to stare at you in utter confusion.
Exactly, because you
Yeah.
just told them to kill the transaction. Now, if you want the size 10, you have to start a whole new purchase from scratch.
It creates unnecessary paperwork for the employee. It holds up the line of customers behind you, and it causes you extra stress.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody. If you know you want to walk out of the store with a product, you must burn the word exchange into your brain.
Since this word is so crucial, we need to spend some time on the pronunciation.
We definitely do.
Because exchange can be a bit of a tongue twister for non-native speakers, what with the consonant clusters.
It can. Let's break it down mechanically. It is 2 syllables. Exchange.
Let's look at the first syllable, X. It looks like an E and an X, but it really sounds like an E sound followed by a K and an S pushed forcefully together, Ix.
Correct. The back of your tongue hits the roof of your mouth for the K, and then you push air through your teeth for the X. X. Got it. And then we hit the second syllable, change. This starts with a very strong shet sound. You have to push the air out aggressively.
Yeah.
X, change.
Exchange. And what about the rhythm? Where does the heavy stress go?
In English, syllable stress can completely change how a word is understood. For this word, the stress lands heavily on the second syllable. Exchange. Short pause.
Exchange.
Exactly. You do not want to say IKS change. It is exchange.
Okay, let's practice the entire phrase together, slowly feeling that rhythm. I would like to exchange this. Short pause. Notice how smooth that is when you don't rush it. And just like with our first phrase, we are building on that polite foundation of I would like.
Yeah, the polite architecture of the sentence remains exactly the same. I would like to exchange this. But in our full example sentence, we added a very important preposition to give extra detail.
Which preposition?
For. I would like to exchange this for a smaller size.
Oh, that is a great grammatical note. You use the preposition for. You exchange item A for item B.
That is the perfect formula. You exchange the blue shirt for the red shirt. You exchange the broken blender for a new blender. You exchange the large for a medium.
Okay, let's take a breath and look at our progress. We have successfully walked through the store doors, approached the counter, and initiated our gentle but solid handshake.
We survived the opening.
We did. We have stated our intent perfectly clearly. Either I would like to return this or I would like to exchange this.
We have opened the dialogue flawlessly.
But of course, the interaction doesn't end there.
Sadly, no.
Because the moment you make that request, the store employee is going to look at the item, look back at you, and ask one inevitable question: why? Or what's wrong with it?
They're required to ask.
Right.
It isn't that they don't believe you.
Yeah.
They literally have to select a reason from a drop-down menu on their computer screen to track store inventory.
And this is the second major freeze point for learners.
It really is.
You successfully start the conversation, the cashier asks what the problem is, and suddenly you feel this intense pressure to tell a long, complicated, highly detailed story to justify yourself.
Which is the absolute worst thing you can do.
The worst.
Explaining the problem requires simplicity. You do not need a narrative. You need a diagnosis.
Okay, show us how.
Let's look at how to explain the problem simply and effectively, starting with clothing.
Okay, let's say I bought a jacket and I try it on at home and I can't even button it up.
Oh no.
It's way too small. What is the precise phrase I should use when the cashier asks what's wrong?
You deploy this phrase, it does not fit.
Give me the full sentence example.
It does not fit. It is too small. Short pause. Let's hear to the rhythm of that again. It does not fit. It's too small. Short pause.
Let's do the cashier role play. I am holding up the jacket, scanning the barcode. All right, returning the jacket. Was there something wrong with it?
It does not fit.
Short, punchy, undeniable. Let's define the exact boundaries of the word fit. When do we use this?
Fit is used exclusively for items that rely on physical dimensions in relation to a human body.
Like clothing.
Yes. Clothes, shoes, a winter hat, a belt, a ring.
Yeah.
If you have to wear it and the physical dimensions are incorrect for your body, the absolute best phrase is, it does not fit.
But, what about style? What if the jacket is the right size, but I put it on and the color just makes me look terrible? Can I say it does not fit?
No, that is a great distinction. If the size is right, but the style is bad, you would say, it doesn't suit me, or simply, I just didn't like it.
Ah, okay.
Fit is strictly about the physical measurements.
Right. And what if I bought a sofa and I get it home and it is too long to go through my front door? Can I tell a furniture store the sofa does not fit?
You would have to qualify it by saying, it does not fit in my living room.
Right, because it's not on your body.
Exactly. But in a standard retail environment, if you just walk up to a counter holding a bag and say, it does not fit, it is universally understood to mean apparel that is the wrong size for your body.
Now, let's talk about the urge to over-explain. The usage guidelines for this phrase suggest following it up with incredibly simple adjectives.
Yes. Do not invent a complex story. Simply say, it does not fit, and then add one descriptive adjective.
Give me some examples.
It is too small. It is too big. It is too tight. It is too loose.
I always think of the fairy tale of Goldilocks and the Three Bears when I think about this.
Goldilocks?
Yeah.
How does Goldilocks apply to customer service?
Think about it. Goldilocks breaks into the bear's house. She tries the bowls of porridge. She says, this one is too hot, this one is too cold, this one is just right.
Right.
She sits in the chairs. This one is too big, this one is too small. Notice what she doesn't do.
What's that?
She doesn't explain why the chair is too big. She doesn't say, well, my legs are a bit shorter than average and the ergonomic angle of the wood is really uncomfortable for my lumbar posture.
That's hilarious.
She just says, it is too big.
That is a phenomenal analogy. When you are returning clothes, channel your inner Goldilocks.
Be Goldilocks.
Keep it brutally simple. The cashier does not need a psychological breakdown of your body shape.
They really don't.
They do not need to hear a rambling story about how you usually wear a medium in the specific brand, but for some reason this medium feels like a small. And maybe you ate too much over the weekend, but you aren't sure.
Exactly. But that is the over-explaining trap. When we are nervous, Silence feels dangerous.
So we fill it with words.
So we start talking too much. We start giving personal excuses to fill the air. But you don't need to justify the geometry of your body to a stranger at a cash register.
You absolutely do not. It does not fit. It is too big. That is a complete, grammatically perfect, firm, and polite answer.
And it gets the job done.
It gives the cashier the exact data point they need to click the button on their screen and move your transaction forward.
But obviously, we don't just buy clothes. What if the problem has absolutely nothing to do with size? What if I bought a coffee grinder or an alarm clock or an electronic toy and the thing is completely broken?
Then we pivot to a different verb. This is our next essential phrase for explaining the problem.
What is the phrase?
The phrase is, it does not work.
Give me the full sentence in context.
I bought this yesterday, but it does not work. Short pause. Notice the steady delivery. I bought this yesterday, but it does not work. Short pause.
Let's role play. I am the cashier. You place a coffee grinder on the counter, okay? A return on the grinder. What seems to be the issue with it?
It does not work when I turn it on.
So it does not work is essentially the mechanical equivalent of it does not fit.
Exactly. You use this verb when a product is broken, defective, structurally compromised, or simply not functioning at all.
Like things with plugs.
Yes, you use this for electronics, appliances, mechanical tools, digital devices, basically anything that requires power, batteries, or moving parts to fulfill its purpose.
Now, I want to challenge the strategy here because I think a lot of technically minded people will struggle with this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The advice is to keep the technical explanation simple. Just say, it does not work.
Yes. Treat electronics with the same simplicity as Goldilocks treating the chairs.
But what if I am an engineer? Or just really good at fixing things, and I know exactly why the coffee grinder is broken?
I see where this is going.
Like, I open it up or I listen to the motor, and I know that the internal drive shaft is disconnected from the grinding burrs. Shouldn't I give the cashier that incredibly specific information so they know I'm telling the truth?
I strongly, strongly advise against doing that. It is a massive tactical error.
Really? Why?
You have to remember the roles in this interaction. You're playing the role of a consumer, not a mechanical engineer. And the person standing across from you is a retail cashier, not an appliance repair technician.
Ah, okay.
If you walk up and announce the internal drive shaft is disconnected from the burrs, you are going to terrify the cashier.
Because they have no idea what that means.
They probably don't know what a drive shaft is. You have introduced highly specialized vocabulary into a simple transaction. The cashier might get confused, and confusion leads to hesitation.
That makes sense.
They might start questioning you. Wait, how do you know that? Did you take it apart? Because if you open the casing with a screwdriver, you voided the store warranty and I can't give you a refund.
Oh, wow. So by trying to be helpful and smart, you just accidentally built a massive wall between you and your money. You just started a debate.
Exactly. You walked right into a trap of your own making.
A completely avoidable trap.
But if you simply state, it does not work, you safely and legally cover every single possible technical fault. It avoids all vocabulary debates.
It's so clean.
The cashier hears, it does not work. Their brain translates that to, item is defective. They print a sticker, put it on the box, and process your refund.
It is the ultimate protective shield. It does not work. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to prove your technical expertise. It just doesn't do the thing I paid for it to do.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You are giving them the symptom, not the underlying medical diagnosis. The symptom is all the retail system requires.
Okay, let's summarize our progress through this maze. We have approached the counter. We stated our intent politely but firmly. I would like to return this.
Yes.
We handled the why question brilliantly without over-explaining. It does not fit or it does not work.
We're doing great.
So what is the next phase of the conversation?
The next phase is providing the evidence.
The evidence.
Yes. Once you state the problem, you have to provide the facts of the transaction. You have to prove that you are a legitimate customer who actually gave this specific store money for this specific item.
Right, because I can't just find a broken toaster in my garage, walk into a random supermarket and demand $50. The store needs proof of life, so to speak.
Exactly. They need a timeline and they need a record. So let's start with establishing the timeline. The phrase you need is, I bought it yesterday.
Let's look at the example sentence.
It is a complete thought on its own. I bought it yesterday. Short pause. Let's do a role play.
Yeah.
I am the cashier this time. I look at the broken item. I'm sorry to hear it's defective. When did you purchase this?
I bought it yesterday.
Now, we need to do a serious deep dive into the grammar here, because choosing the correct verb tense is crucial for sounding like a confident, natural English speaker.
I am looking closely at the verb. We are using the simple past tense here, bought. B-O-U-G-H-T. We are strictly saying, I bought. We are not saying, I have bought.
That is a tremendously important distinction, and it is a rule that trips up countless learners.
Especially because of their native languages.
Exactly. Especially those whose native languages used present perfect tenses differently, like French, German, or Spanish.
Right.
In English, when you specify a definite completed time in the past, like the word yesterday, you absolutely must use the simple past tense.
So yesterday acts like an anchor. It forces the verb into the simple past.
Exactly. The time is a closed chapter. It is finished. Therefore, the action is finished. You cannot say, I have bought it yesterday.
Sounds wrong to me.
To a native English speaker's ear, that sounds confusing, almost like the action of buying it is still somehow continuing right now.
It sounds incredibly clumsy, and it immediately marks you as someone who is struggling with the language.
Which chips away at that confident, firm presence we are trying to build.
Right. I bought it yesterday is sharp. It is definitive. It leaves no room for grammatical confusion.
We also need to tackle the pronunciation of this word, because bought is a notorious English spelling trap.
Oh, it really is. It has that infamous O-U-G-H combination.
English spelling can be a nightmare. It is true. The O-U-G-H combination can make many different sounds. But in this specific word, you can ignore almost all those letters.
Thank goodness.
It simply makes a pure aw sound. B-I-A-T.
Bought. Got?
Yeah.
It rhymes perfectly with caught, like catching a ball, or taught, like a teacher. B-I-T.
Exactly. I bought it yesterday.
Now, obviously, we are not always going to rush back to the store the very next day. What are some other simple time expressions we can plug into this sentence if, say, a week has gone by?
The rule is to keep the time expression general. You do not need a hyper-specific timestamp.
So keep it broad.
Yes. If it was the same day, you say, I bought it this morning. If it was a few days ago, you say, I bought it last week. If it was over the weekend, I bought it on Saturday.
Keep it broad. I don't need to look at my phone and say, I bought it on Tuesday the 14th at 3:35 p.m. during a rainstorm.
No, because giving too much detail sounds nervous. Furthermore, you are going to provide physical proof in the very next breath anyway.
Oh, right.
Stating a general timeline like, last week simply reassures the cashier instantly that you are well within the store's allowed return policy.
Most places have, what, a month?
Most retail stores offer a 14-day or 30-day return window. If you say, last week the cashier's brain checks a box. Okay, the policy allows this.
Which leads us perfectly to the ultimate piece of evidence, the golden ticket of customer service. How do we prove we bought it?
We use our next essential phrase, I have the receipt.
Oh, this is a massive one. Let's hear the example sentence.
I have the receipt with me. Short pause. I will say it again. Listen to the pronunciation. I have the receipt with me. Short pause.
Let's role play. I am the cashier. All right, I can process a return for this. Do you happen to have the receipt?
Yes, I have the receipt.
Stop everything. We have to talk about how this word is spelled versus how it is spoken.
I was hoping you'd catch that.
Receipt. R-E-C-E-I-P-T. There is a giant P right in the middle of this word.
There is indeed a P, and it is 100% entirely silent. You must pretend the P is invisible.
Why does the English language do this to us? It honestly feels like a prank.
It really does. It is a fascinating quirk of linguistic history, actually. The word comes from a Latin root, recepta, where the P was fully pronounced.
Okay.
When the word entered English through French centuries ago, people eventually stopped pronouncing the P to make the word flow more smoothly off the tongue.
She's got lazy with it.
Exactly. But scholars in the Renaissance decided they wanted the spelling to reflect the original Latin, so they locked the P back into the spelling, even though no one was pronouncing it anymore.
That is so frustrating.
The spelling froze in time while the spoken word evolved.
So practically speaking today, how do I move my mouth to say this word correctly? Receipt.
Yes, receipt. The emphasis is heavy on the second syllable. The first part is a soft re. The C sounds exactly like an S, and the EI combination stretches out into a long E sound. Receipt. Short pause.
Receipt. It rhymes perfectly with seat, like a chair you sit on. Receipt.
Exactly. I have the receipt.
Now, I want to talk about how you present this to the cashier. What should I avoid doing here?
You should absolutely avoid reading the receipt aloud. Never walk up to the counter, look at the paper, and say, I would like to return this. My transaction ID is 4592-88.
Because that is exhausting for everyone involved.
Precisely. The cashier cannot process a string of 20 numbers spoken verbally. By saying, I have the receipt, you are simply announcing that you possess the proof.
And then you hand it to them.
You hand them the paper. They need to physically scan the barcode with their laser or visually verify the date themselves.
That brings up a very modern question. Retail has changed dramatically in the last 5 years.
It really has. Paper is disappearing.
Very often now, I do not get a piece of thermal paper. The cashier asks for my email address or my phone number, and they text or email the proof to me. If I am holding my smartphone with an email open, do I still use the word receipt?
Yes, absolutely. The word receipt has evolved beyond paper. It now refers to the concept of the proof of purchase, regardless of the medium.
Oh, that's good to know.
I have the receipt still works perfectly as a blanket statement.
So I don't need to invent new vocabulary. I don't need to say I have the digital confirmation email document right here.
No, that is far too clunky. Whether you are holding a crinkled piece of paper from your wallet or holding up your glowing smartphone screen, it is a receipt.
Awesome.
You just say, I have the receipt right here on my phone.
Yeah.
It is simple, clear, and gives the cashier the green light to verify the purchase.
Okay, let's zoom out and look at the beautiful architecture of this conversation we have built. It is a masterpiece of efficiency.
It's looking good.
We walked up to the counter. We made the request. I would like to return this. We explained the problem simply. It does not work. We provided the verified details. I bought it yesterday, and I have the receipt.
You have literally handed the store employee every single piece of the puzzle they need. The context is completely set.
So how do we cross the finish line? How do we navigate the end of this interaction, especially if the store has, complicated policies?
This is where we shift the dynamic.
Yeah.
We move to the phase where you, as the customer, take control of the resolution without having to demand anything aggressively.
Oh, I like the sound of this.
We are going to look at one of the most powerful phrases in the English language.
I am so excited for this one. I looked ahead at our notes before we started recording, and this phrase is genuinely my favorite tool in the entire deep dive. It is brilliant.
It is incredibly effective. The phrase is, what are my options?
Let's hear the example sentence to understand the context.
What are my options if I do not want the same item? Short pause. Let me repeat that. What are my options if I do not want the same item? Short pause.
Let's do the role play. I am the cashier. You just handed me a broken watch. I'm sorry, this is broken. We can definitely offer an exchange for a new one today.
What are my options?
I described this phrase to you earlier as a polite power move.
Yes, you did.
Can we really unpack the psychology of why asking this specific question is so brilliant?
It is a power move because it completely flips the responsibility of solving the problem.
Flipping the script.
Exactly. When we are nervous, especially when speaking a second language, we often suffer from a false belief that we have to invent the solution.
Yes. We stand at the counter panicking, thinking, okay, do I ask for cash? Do I ask them to repair it? Do I ask for a gift card? What am I allowed to do? We put all this immense mental burden on ourselves.
Yes. You feel like you are supposed to be the lawyer arguing a case and the judge deciding the settlement.
Which is exhausting.
But the truth is, you don't know the store's internal policies. You don't know what the computer system allows the cashier to do by asking, what are my options? You are stepping back, taking a breath, and saying, I have presented the problem. I have proven I am a customer. Now you, the representative of the store, tell me what solutions you can provide.
It is so freeing. You just ask the question and let them do all the heavy lifting. You let them talk.
And it prevents you from asking for something impossible, which could lead to an embarrassing rejection. Furthermore, this phrase is universally useful.
It's not just for stores.
No. It is a Swiss Army knife for life in an English-speaking country. It is not just for returning a toaster.
Give me some other scenarios where this polite power move works.
Imagine you check into a hotel, you go to your room, and there's a loud construction site right outside the window.
Ugh, the worst.
You go back to the lobby. You don't need to demand a penthouse suite. You just say, the room is very loud. What are my options?
And they might offer a different room, a free breakfast, or a discount.
Exactly. Or imagine you're at the airport and you look at the board and your flight is suddenly canceled. You walk up to the gate agent. You don't need to scream at them.
Please don't scream at them.
You calmly ask, my flight was canceled. What are my options?
It is the ultimate tool for navigating any bureaucratic situation where you don't know the rules. It shows that you are reasonable and flexible, but also that you firmly expect them to offer you a tangible solution.
It is the absolute peak of being perfectly polite and completely firm.
Now let's explore the alternative. What if I am not feeling flexible?
Fair enough.
What if I know exactly what I want? I don't want store credit. I don't want to hear about an exchange. I just want my $50 back in my hand. How do I say that directly?
Then you can bypass asking for options and make a direct request using our final phrase.
Let's hear it.
The phrase is, could I get a refund?
And the example sentence?
Could I get a refund, please? Short pause. Notice the rising intonation here because this is a question. Could I get a refund, please? Short pause.
Let's role play the final showdown. I am the cashier trying to keep the store's money. I understand the shirt doesn't fit. Would you like me to check the back room for another size?
No, thank you. Could I get a refund?
Okay, let's look at the specific vocabulary word first. Refund. This is the precise noun for getting your money back.
Yes. Earlier in the interaction, we used return as a verb. I would like to return this. The refund is the financial result of that physical action.
So it's the actual money.
Yes, it is the actual money itself coming back to your credit card or cash being placed into your hand.
Let's dive deep into the grammar of this request. Could I get a refund? I really want to analyze the word could. Why are we using could I instead of can I?
That's a very subtle point.
Because if you listen to native English speakers in cafes or stores, you hear people say, can I get a coffee? Or can I get a refund all the time?
You absolutely do hear can I. And to be clear, can I is grammatically acceptable. It is not wrong.
Okay, so why change it?
However, our goal today is not just to be acceptable. Our goal is to master the balance of being polite and firm. We want to engineer the best possible emotional reaction from the cashier.
And swapping can for could actually changes human behavior.
It does, because of the mechanics of modal verbs in English. Can is very direct. It implies raw ability.
Like, am I physically capable?
Right. Can I get a refund? Essentially means, is it physically possible for me to get a refund? But could is the past tense form of can.
Wait, past tense?
Yes. By using the past tense to ask for something right now, you create hypothetical distance.
Distance creates politeness.
Yes. In English, distance is the foundation of deference and politeness. It softens the blunt force of the request.
Oh, wow.
It makes it sound highly educated, gentle, and incredibly respectful of the other person's authority.
That is fascinating. So by using a softer, more distant word like could, you actually make your very firm request, like demanding your money back, much easier for the clerk to swallow.
You are asking for cash, which is a strong demand, but wrapping it in could, it makes it sound like a gentle inquiry.
It connects perfectly back to your handshake analogy. It is the gentle cushion around the firm grip, no thank you, could I get a refund?
It leaves absolutely no room for confusion about what you want, but it causes zero offense to the person helping you.
That is brilliant linguistic engineering. Okay, we have covered an immense amount of ground. We have dissected the vocabulary, the syntax, the phonetic pronunciation, and the underlying cultural psychology behind returning an item.
We have provided the complete toolkit. But as any language learner knows, passive listening is simply not enough.
It really isn't.
Understanding the theory of how a language works is only half the battle.
Right. It is like reading a textbook about how to ride a bicycle. You can memorize the physics of balance and the mechanics of the pedals, but until you actually get on the bike and feel the wobble, you don't know how to ride.
Exactly. Knowledge requires application. So it is time for active practice. We are now entering a high-stakes mental simulator.
I love the simulator.
We invite you, the listener, to participate with us right now.
Here is how this simulator is going to work. I am going to paint a vivid picture of a store situation for you. I will describe a scenario and tell you what your goal is.
And then there will be a short, silent pause.
Yes. During that pause, I want you to mentally pull up the correct English phrase we just learned, and I want you to say it out loud.
Wherever you are right now, in your car, in your kitchen, walking the dog, actually speak the words. And after the pause, I will provide the correct, perfectly balanced, polite, and firm English answer so you can check your instincts.
Treat this like a real challenge. Do not worry if you stumble or forget a word. Making mistakes in the safety of this simulator is exactly how real fluency is built.
It's a safe space.
It is like lifting weights. The struggle of trying to remember the word is exactly what builds the neural pathway in your brain.
Are you ready? Let's begin the simulator. Situation 1.
You walk through the glass doors of an electronics store. You are holding a box with the camera you bought, but you realize you don't want it anymore. You approach the counter. You want to give the camera back, and you want your money back. What is the very first sentence you say to the cashier? Short pause.
The ideal response is, I would like to return this, please.
Excellent. Remember that firm drop in intonation at the end. Okay. Situation 2. You are at a clothing boutique. You bought a fantastic pair of jeans, but you tried them on at home and they are too tight. You do not want your money back. You just want to find a bigger pair on the shelf. You walk up to the clerk. What do you say? Short pause.
The ideal response is, I would like to exchange this for a larger size.
Perfect. Notice the critical use of the word exchange to keep the transaction alive. Let's move to situation 3. The cashier scans the jeans and asks, was there a problem with these? You need to explain the issue without over-explaining your body shape. What do you say? Short pause.
The ideal response is, it does not fit.
Short, sweet, undeniable. Situation 4. Let's change the scenario. You bought a blender, you plug it in, and the blades won't spin. You take it back to the store. The cashier asks, what's wrong with it? Remember, you are not an engineer. Keep it simple. What do you say? Short pause.
The ideal response is, it does not work.
The ultimate protective shield. All right, situation 5. The cashier is ready to help you, but they need to know when you purchased the blender to check the warranty policy. You bought it 24 hours ago. What do you say? Short pause.
The ideal response is, I bought it yesterday.
Remember the simple past tense. Bought, not have bought. Situation 6. The cashier asks for the physical proof of your purchase. You reach into your pocket and feel the piece of paper. What do you say? Short pause.
The ideal response is, I have the receipt with me.
Receipt. Don't pronounce the P. Okay, final scenario, situation 7. This is the master level.
Yep.
You are standing at the hotel front desk. Your room smells terrible. You want them to solve the problem, but you don't know what they are allowed to do. You want to force them to offer you solutions. What is the polite power phrase? Short pause.
The ideal response is, what are my options?
Fantastic work. If you actually spoke those phrases out loud during the pauses, you are actively building your English fluency. You are literally training your brain to retrieve high-value vocabulary under simulated pressure.
We commend you for doing the hard work of active recall. That practice is the secret ingredient to feeling confident when you are actually standing under the bright lights of a real store.
Now, to cement all of this incredible material into your long-term memory, let's move to our final review.
This is an opportunity to let the language wash over you one last time. We will calmly read the 8 core phrases from today's deep dive. We will leave a short pause between each phrase to let the rhythm and structure sink deeply into your mind. Just listen and absorb.
I would like to return this. Short pause.
I would like to exchange this. Short pause.
It does not fit. Short pause.
It does not work. Short pause.
I bought it yesterday. Short pause.
I have the receipt. Short pause.
What are my options? Short pause.
Could I get a refund? Short pause.
Those 8 phrases are your complete toolkit. They are your shield against anxiety and your guide through the maze of customer service.
And that leads us to our final message for you today. Your core assignment after this deep dive ends is this. Practice 1 complete return dialogue and 1 complete exchange dialogue out loud by yourself.
Build a little theater in your mind, play the role of the curious cashier, and then play the role of the confident customer.
Exactly. Take the theory and turn it into reality.
Well, we have reached the end of a very deep, very rewarding journey today. Thank you so much for joining us for this English learning deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
If you found this breakdown helpful for your language journey, please remember to subscribe to the show so you do not miss our next deep dive into the fascinating mechanics of the English language. We truly love having you here with us.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over, connecting back to the very beginning of our conversation. We talked about the intense anxiety of returning an item. We talked about your mind going blank. And we just assigned you to practice these phrases out loud. Why do we insist that you must speak out loud when you are alone?
It's a valid question. If I am alone in my room, why can't I just read the phrases silently in my head and memorize them?
Because speaking English, or any second language, is not just a mental exercise. It is not just about filing vocabulary lists in the archives of your brain. Speaking is, quite literally, muscle memory.
Wait, really? Muscle memory?
Yes. Your mouth, your tongue, your lips, your vocal cords, they actually need to physically train to form new shapes. They need to physically practice the transition from the X to the CH in exchange. They need to feel what it's like to skip the silent P in receipt.
So it is an athletic, physical act.
Yes. It is gymnastics for your mouth, so that when you are standing in the store and the line of people is behind you tapping their feet, and your brain suddenly feels nervous and wants to freeze, your physical muscles will remember what to do. The muscle memory will take over when the brain falters.
That is so true.
So stand in front of a mirror today. Give it a try. Take off the blindfold and step up to the counter with absolute confidence. You've got this.